Security analyst Adam Bona is demanding the dismissal of the Odoko Division MTTD commander ASP Kingsley Kanda for his poor handling of the case involving an officer who drove into bystanders and killed one person at Atico Junction near Carnation in Accra. According to ASP Kanda, his command is yet to arrest the officer at the center of the incident after well over 24 hours. 2 survivors are receiving treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and the Coco Clinic. The policeman who was driving a Toyota Vitz vehicle was said to have been pursuing an errant trotro driver when he tripped over a mound and veered onto the pavement, ramming into people. Part of the body of the deceased victim, identified only as Abena, was severed. Manuel Kranting of our security desk visited the scene in our report.
These are angry residents of Atico, a spot just off the Winneba Highway where a vehicle rammed into unsuspecting bystanders. According to eyewitnesses, the vehicle in question, a Toyota Vitz taxi, was being driven by a police officer who lost control. Here's one of them.
We all just heard loud honks from a trotro vehicle running at top speed just drive past us. In just a few seconds, we saw a taxi tailing it. The taxi veered off the main road and knocked down one man there. It then crossed over to the other pavement and knocked down one lady. Her name is Abena. As we were wailing, a policeman emerged from the crowd. We even thought he was just here to calm the tensions until he said he was the driver of the taxi and that he was pursuing a trotro driver.
Three people were knocked down. Even though 2 of them are currently receiving medical treatment, one of them died on the spot.
There were nails right here, and the car crushed her into the tree. She was pinned against the tree and her left leg was almost severed. It was totally shredded. But up until now, no police officer has been here to check anything. Do you think they would do this if she was one of them?
This has left many of the vendors at the spot, which is one of the busiest bus stops on the stretch, visibly spooked. This lady has been selling breakfast meals at Atico Junction for years.
I am extremely terrified. I couldn't even eat the whole day. Yesterday, I had to throw away all the food I had cooked.
But they blame the bad state of the road for the incident. They want the deep gullies and potholes to be fixed to avert a recurrence.
This is the second reportage that I'm doing on this bad road. And what I'm saying is that it's a major contributing factor. Because, for instance, if he was not on top speed, definitely he was going to use this outer road. Of which, knowing that people do board car here and as a bus stop, they do normally reduce the speed. Because of this bad road, they don't use the outer road again. They all use the highway. And of course, when things do happen, this is one of the things that do happen. Now we lost a life. The family is in grievances. Must we always lose life to fix and be responsible? No. All we are saying is that the little and as a quarter of the national cake, this is what the people in this area we have. Fix it for us. Fix this thing for us. When it rains, it's a canker. We have to carry people at our back. Some people charge 5 cedis to carry you and cross this road. Here becomes like a river. This gutter is choked because all the water that is coming has to use one route. And we find ourselves terribly in situations that sometimes we feel that we are not Ghanaians or we are left out.
It is a Yankupon Yadoma, and can you pay Wahano more than something peoples into one man on the Yapan and my
But for God, we would have all died. We want the roads to be fixed. Our children cannot find jobs, and the roads too are bad, just killing our people.
So in just a split second, this spot, which was Abena's source of livelihood, became the spot where she breathed her last, with her bloodstains still pretty much visible. For now, her family is calling for justice to be served, while the residents here, many of whom are really concerned, call for the immediate fixing of the road, which they say was a major contributing factor to this incident. For JoyNews, my name is Manuel Kranting.
Well, Manuel Kranting visited the area today and caught up with the 19-year-old daughter of the deceased.
Tears uncontrollable, with dreams shattered and hearts broken. That's the state in which I met Ernestina Yeboah, the 19-year-old daughter of Abena Yeboah, who was killed by a speeding vehicle at Atico Junction near Kanishi. The vehicle, a Toyota Vitz taxi, was being driven by a police officer when it veered off onto the pavement.
My madam never accident this woman, mommy, please. Oh, Jiddy sent me, mammy, come.
My madam called me to come because there had been an accident and she suspected my mother was hit. I was going to find a job because we've been struggling too much. My mom was a single mother even though my father is alive. So they went to the mortuary. They won't allow me to see my mother.
I must say, I say, I'm funny, shame. In Tiankayanko police station, and go GP Pacific. The Jamaica may have collected penny for Nelco. And I'm catching say, a busan for me, you near bars, and I jump crochet mono, and so met me alcohol money. So, Mono call much, medium so mammy cover.
Indeed, Ernestina has no idea how her mother died. But back at the scene of the incident, eyewitnesses say parts of her body got severed after she was crushed against a tree.
There were nails right here, and the car crushed her into the tree. She was pinned against the tree and her left leg was almost severed. It was totally shredded. But up until now, no police officer has been here to check anything. Do you think they will do this if she was one of them?
Physically, what is left of Ernestina's mom are her slippers and bloodstains, which are now covered by sand. But her memories, which keep replaying in her daughter's head, have made it impossible for her to catch any sleep, at least not in a wooden structure they lived.
Now, I am all alone. I couldn't sleep in the house. I went to pass the night with someone, but I did not even blink my eyes.
Ernestina cannot even begin to count her loss because all she had, her mother and guardian, is now history.
For now, I am all alone. I have no one to help me unless you help me. She was just 38 and me 19. I will be 20 in September.
19. September na coming 20.
The police have since launched investigations into the matter. But like many dependents of road crash victims, just a day after her mother's passing, Ernestina's hope of a better life has ended. Also, it seems. Manuel Cranting, JoyNews, Accra.
Manuel Cranting joins us in the studio with more. Manuel Cranting, what's the latest on this report?
Also, Aisha, this story has been building up in the past 48 hours or so. Yesterday, at the time that I was leaving the Odoko Divisional Police Command, the MTTD commander there, ASP Kingsley Kanda, told me that they had not set eyes on the police officer who was at the center of this entire accident. Indeed, what he said was that he had sent his investigator to follow up and was working towards getting him, in spite of the fact that they had picked an AK-47 assault rifle in the taxi which was being driven by the police officer. And that explanation that he gave to us yesterday was described as untenable by security analyst Adam Bona, who said that it was not possible to have had all of those, little pieces of information and still not to be able to apprehend, or if you like, bring in the officer in question. We can listen to Adam Bona.
I'm surprised I think it's the MTTD commander for the Odoko area.
Yes.
Saying that the weapon is not marked. That cannot be true. I know the Small Arms Commission has marked all weapons belonging to the Ghana Police Service. And so, if he claims it is not marked, and yet it has a serial number, the serial number, obviously, serial numbers are serial numbers. Anyone who knows about serial numbers would know that you cannot have two serial numbers for items. It doesn't happen anywhere. And so I am surprised at his level. He's saying the weapon is not marked. They have serial numbers, and I know the Small Arms Commission has marked them. And so by now, just as they would have done if it was a civilian who had committed this heinous crime, they would have shown the civilian's face in the public, letting everybody know who they are looking for. Because obviously this is a dangerous person. Because if he left his, assigned AK-47 in his private vehicle and absconded, then this is a dangerous person. The police should be giving us information about us and telling us they need the public's assistance in arresting him. And so to come up with this lame excuse and say, you know what, we don't know who he is, what is he talking about? How can he say it's alleged that he's a police officer? The gentleman drove a vehicle. He drove a vehicle. Who is the vehicle registered to? Whether it was a taxi or it was not a taxi, who is the vehicle registered to? Where is the location? What is the location address of the vehicle? Obviously, someone was driving that vehicle. And so, I'm told from your report, he followed the victims to the hospital. And so if he followed them to the hospital, there are surveillance cameras. There are surveillance cameras all the way from wherever this incident took place to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And so to say you don't know, and these cameras, and this happened, I think from the footages I've seen during the day, these cameras are able to capture images of persons, in the driving seat. And so it should give some clear indication of who, whether it's a male or it's a female, someone approximately a certain age, a certain height. All this information would show.
So, Manuel Quarantine, has this policeman in question been arrested?
Yes, Aisha, our information from sources within the Ghana Police Service is that he's now being brought into custody. Essentially, the case, if you like, has been moved from the Odoko Divisional Police Command to the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, where we're told the officer in question, his name withheld anyways, is actually stationed. And so he's currently being, interrogated at the Accra Region Police Command. We do not know exactly just yet if he is being charged and what exactly he's being charged with. But what we know is that he's now being cited by the Ghana Police Service and he's within their monitoring.
Manuel Quarantine is our man on this bit. We'll still follow up and bring you all the updates that you need.